Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. Let's jump to the story about the dystopian nightmare that we're about to embrace. And it's probably mean to say, I shouldn't say that. NeuraLink, first in human clinical trials, is open for recruitment. And I want to soften this a little bit. What's going to happen right now is that people who are paralyzed, who are deaf, who can't see, are going to get a chance to have their lives back. Or, you know, if some people, I don't want to imply that some people are miserable or unhappy. Whereas some people are totally fine and happy and they've adapted and they're living good lives. But some people may be thinking, this is my chance to maybe walk again. This is why NeuraLink is awesome. The scary thing is, NeuraLink is the door that once you open it up, the path out leads to people isolating themselves in pods where they have feeding tubes full of pumping bug slime into their bellies while they live in the Matrix by choice. But this is the latest big news. Elon Musk tweeted about it saying, the first human patient will soon receive a NeuraLink device. This ultimately has the potential to restore full body movement. In the long term, NeuraLink hopes to play a role in AI civilization risk reduction by improving human to AI and human to human bandwidth by several orders of magnitude. Imagine if Stephen Hawking had this. I also want to just point out what he's saying about AI civilization risk reduction. He's saying that if humans integrate with the AI, it won't destroy us. He's talking about integrating human brains with other human brains. You know, I think Elon does great work. And I think it's important that, you know, to a certain degree, like, we certainly want to cure people who are paralyzed with medical technology. But I gotta say, man, it's gonna get scary. You guys ready to plug your brain into the Matrix?
Yeah, absolutely not. No, it's like, yeah, I like what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter. I'm not about to let him put a computer in my head. I mean, that's ridiculous. And, you know, the other aspect of this is that the first people to take advantage of this will be like the elite, the people in the, take advantage of it in a way that is more than just like helping a paralyzed person walk, which, you know, obviously that's the way that they're going to introduce it, because who would disagree with that? But, you know, it's way beyond that what NeuraLink is capable of in terms of like increasing your IQ or your all sorts of stuff. And so, you know, you're going to have a sort of feedback loop where the people in the highest positions of power in the society get it first, and that just solidifies their position as they, continue to occupy that top
They
spot.
say those who have quadriplegia due to cervical spinal cord injury or ALS may qualify. So for now, I mean, we're not talking about plugging people's brains into the Matrix. NeuraLink is actually going to be saving lives and curing ailments, and I can respect that. I know a lot of people are saying don't rag on NeuraLink because it's going to provide, treatment for a lot of people, and that's really, really cool. My fear is just that if we ever get to the point where we can read write into a person's brain experiences, yeah, no one's going to live in the real world anymore.
Well, the other aspect is, you know, the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, right? You'll own nothing, you'll have no privacy, but you'll be happy. I mean, that dates back to the 1960s when you had Aldous Huxley saying, basically, they'll put you in a position where you ought not be happy, but you'll be made happy when they literally are releasing dopamine. So you're sitting there on this is like the 1960s version, but you're sitting there on an assembly line. You should be like miserable, like, God, this is awful. But instead you're like, this is the best thing this is the most fun I've ever had, is putting together these car parts, because they're literally activating the pleasure center of your brain as you're doing this.
Do you guys know what, you know the story of the monkey's paw, right?
Yes.
The monkey's paw. It gives you 3 wishes, but it twists your wishes in awful ways. And or there's just like needful things. This trope of be careful what you wish for has been around for a long time. I remember when I was little, I can't remember what movie we were watching. I was watching with my family. And it's like somebody gets a monkey's paw or whatever. And then they're like, I wish for $1 million. And then all of a sudden, like, the person's wife walks out to pick up a newspaper and gets hit by a car, killing her instantly. And then the guy in the car is like, oh no, I'll give you $1 million settlement or whatever. Like or an insurance payout. They're like, you're being awarded $1 million. So the wish is twisted. My dad was always like, you know how you beat the monkey's paw? You wish for happiness. Wish that you were happy. And what could it do to twist it? And I was like, it'll put you in a mental institution in a straitjacket, bang your head on the wall, and he goes, but you're happy. And I'm like, that's an interesting way of viewing happiness. It's technically the truth.
Yeah, that's
the happiness they'll give you.
There's a Chuck Palahniuk short story that's kind of like that, where it's this phenomenon where all these kids in high school realize that if you like electrocute yourself, you basically like lobotomize yourself. And so it's like a trend of kids like electrocuting themselves and lobotomizing themselves because they'd rather be happy and mentally incapacitated than have to deal with the stresses of real life.
Yo, people are going to be like, in the real world, I work at, I work a menial job. But when I go home to my pod and plug in, man, I host this big nightly podcast with millions of followers. It's really great, to a morning show. Yeah,
and I mean that again, this is what the people that are, whether we like it or not, planning our future, right? The global government that already exists and is in operation right now. They, come out and say, they're like, once we have all these robotics, people are going to be useless. So we have to find something for them to do. We have to find something to occupy their time, which is exactly that. It's put you in a pod, connect you to the NeuraLink, and suddenly you're happy and playing video games.
But you guys wouldn't want to play video games in the NeuraLink?
No.
I mean, do you play video games?
Yeah.
What's your favorite game?
Baldur's Gate.
You're playing Baldur's Gate right now?
I'm not playing the third one.
You're not playing third?
No.
Wait, what are you talking about? How are you playing Baldur's Gate? You're not playing the new one?
I just played the one from 1995.
Well, it's a really great game. You wouldn't want to actually be able to experience being in the world of Baldur's Gate and throwing fireballs at dragons and... people are gonna. Look. People say no.
Not if that means I'm putting a USB port in the back of my head.
I think it'll be wireless.
Well, either way, I think, but I mean that is the danger. And I mean, we're already, even with the level of technology we have now, we're already experiencing this where like so many, even like my friends, like they get their fulfillment in the facsimile of success through video games.
Have you ever heard the phrase fully automated luxury communism?
I have.
That is the future that a lot of people want. And that is the future that a plugged in NeuraLink pod offers. You don't have to do anything if you're laying in the pod. It's fully automated. Your serotonin and dopamine centers are stimulated for you. So you own nothing and you're happy and you literally just exist in the pod.
Here's a good one. A Samuel Brucker with a super chat saying, don't forget that NeuraLink can be used as an interface for a super soldier super suit like Iron Man.
That was literally the second to Musk tweeted about what's it called. Then the next tweet that he had was a little clip from Star Wars with Luke Skywalker's hand.
But you wonder how it is that Tony Stark pilots the Iron Man suit. Well, it's going to be human. It's going to be computer brain interface.
Yeah.
But I do think the moment everybody says no, everybody says they won't do it. Everybody said they wouldn't get a cell phone. So everybody's got a cell phone. And everyone's like, I don't want a government tracking device in my pocket. Now I have 3.
Only old people will say no. Only people our age and older.
Oh, I think a lot of people want this. Yeah. Like, I mean, we look at it through a critical lens, but I think that actually there's a significant portion of Americans who want to be lazy and they want to immediately reach this nirvana that is being sold to us.
Our future is Alita Battle Angel.
People will sell experiences.
Yeah.
So, like, you're a chef. So what you have to do is plug in the NeuraLink, cook the fancy meal, film it, and then eat it. And it records what your brain is saying as you're eating this food. And then that experience of eating this delicious meal can be then sent to the game world where it now appears on the menu. Like someone has to record the brain patterns to give to another person before it can. You can't just go into this video game, this NeuraLink world and be like, I want a filet mignon. Someone's got to record what a brain experiences, what signals are sent when someone is eating a delicious medium rare filet mignon.
So basically this is a way to become vegan without being vegan, right?
Oh, I mean, dude, you're going to eat the bugs. Come on.
Yeah.
You're going to go in your pod and you're going to plug the feeding tube into your neck.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
And then you're going to zonk out and then you're going to live for like, there's the idea that they could do, make you experience like time dilation in NeuraLink, like speed things up so that in the real world, it's, 8 hours of sleep, but you live for 80 years or something like that. I don't know about that. That may or may not be true. But you're going to plug in, you're going to get home from work or whatever, and you're going to be like, finally, I can go back to being president again. Plug in your feeding tube, and then wake up as the president.
Oh, my God. Yeah, basically, you know what's funny? This is a rudimentary, like San Francisco. This is San Francisco, right, where everybody's being given drugs and they're laying on the streets and they don't have jobs. But now we're actually going to turn it into something a lot more digital and effective. It's a scary thing.
I think the big hurdle for NeuraLink in terms of commercial ubiquity will be it has to be wireless. There's already the problem of human rejection. So there are people who will cut open their fingers and put neodymium magnets in their fingers and then sew it shut. And this gives you, I think it's called electroperception or perhaps electrosense. And the magnet inside your finger reacts to electromagnetic fields, giving you the ability to feel EMF waves.
That's crazy.
It gives you an additional sense. I think it's funny that people say we have 5 senses. We actually have substantially more than 5 senses, but whatever. It's like, what do they say? Touch, smell, see, and hear, whatever, and taste. But you also have balance. You also have temperature. There's a bunch of other ones. And but anyway, if you want to feel electromagnetic fields, they're people who do this. So I don't recommend it, but the body rejects it. They take a magnet, they coat it in some polymer, stick it in your finger, sew it shut, but slowly over time your body pushes it out, and then eventually it breaks and just rips out of your finger. If we're going to do a NeuraLink, how do you stop the body from rejecting it? I think what they're doing right now with NeuraLink and the stuff that I've seen is they're very, very thin copper wires that just rest on the nerve connections, something like that. The big challenge for NeuraLink going commercial and ubiquitous is going to be no one's going to want to get surgery. I mean, maybe if it's like a tattoo. If they're like, look, we take this thing and we go boom, 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 and we put these copper wires in this, and super easy, and anyone can do it, and it takes 15 minutes, maybe people would do it.
As long as they're drilling quarter-size holes in your skull, people are going to have a little bit of ick factor, and they're going to be a little apprehensive about that.
But people are already getting the chips in their hands. I mean, the skin is not.
That's been like a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while.
There will be people that are going to go ahead and say, "We'll do it. I'll do it right now." There will be people that'll definitely 100%. Do that. There's without a question, people that are biohacking and stuff like that.
Standing in line for the orb thing, right? People are going to be into this. So
absolutely.
So I mean, I guess it is like literally just like a spiritual thing where you have to like reject the falsehood, even if it's pleasant, even if it feels good, even if it seems like a easier experience than real life. You have to recognize that it's not real. And reject it on that ground alone.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.